won't I?
Duck it with Mike Hucks. Sorry, kid. Ooh, check collapses.
John!
The cans are on it here.
John, great to see you.
Good Lord. Actually, not only have you gone really echoey, but you really are looking dicky, kid.
It's funny you should
I'm
say that.
sorry, you're looking more kiddy, Dicky.
Thank
It's
you.
Dicky. Wow, I thought you were still round the bar with Sandy Shaw and Morris.
Oh, the round table,
Round
mate.
table,
No
yeah.
chance.
What a time.
What are you going to tell me
What am I
about?
going to tell you? Well, I usually come in at this time and bore Kid with one or two things I've been doing in the week. What Kid likes to do, because, you know, he is kid by name, kid by nature, he likes to have a sound clue to start off. So you happy to just start like that, then I'll just go after.
Okay.
So here's a sound clue. Whoa!
Boy George, is that?
Boy George is quite right. Now, Kid would have said Tarzan, wouldn't he, really? Because he's that sort of guy. In fact, everybody's doing Tarzan, because you were doing him on in a manner of speaking, on Saturday, weren't you? On
Saturday
night.
night.
You boys were doing them, and I thought, everybody's doing it. Look, give me time to think about it, and I'll do Tarzan next week. So I thought, start something comparable. Boy George. Just because I went to see... Suddenly videos are big things, you know what it's like. You used to go along having a drink up with a record company and they wanted to play a record. You said, oh, God, can I have the drink and get out beforehand? But nowadays, you've got to sit there, they're going to do a video. And there's this huge video that is going to make a fortune called A Kiss Across the Ocean, which is... a mock-up concert. It's 3 concerts, Christmas concerts that Culture Club did, and they've stuck them all together, made about 50, 60 minutes out of it. Of course, it's very well done. Looks like a concert. There's George and Helen Terry and what's his name, you know, that we see around the office all the time.
Judd Lander.
Yes, I thought you were going to say Bob Dylan. No, Judd Lander, of course, who works at the record business, but does all the harmonica. So it's quite interesting to see, and I find it fascinating. I was afterwards, they were saying, of course, it's 3 separate concerts. Of course, when he did the drum break, that was totally different number, you know, and that's not really hurt him. And, you know, all these bits of how they did it, and it's done very well. But I gather what really impressed me, having a drink afterwards, they're all talking away about, hundreds of thousands, not like records. I mean, the power of the video. What? I mean, suddenly, you know, they're talking about, well, we can release this at cinemas, you know, and American cable and all that. So suddenly, A Kiss Across the Ocean, whatever it is, it's this Boy George concert. Everybody's going to have one who's Boy George conscious. I mean, there you go. Out of 3 concerts, 1 video suddenly. Lots of lovely money, Richard. You're going to love it.
In the wrong business.
Yes, and take off that dress. And speaking of, not exactly a change of subject, because it's still lots of lovely money. To get back to Torville and Dean. You obviously don't hear the programme every week. It's just, unfortunately, I got involved in this sort of debate about whether Torville and Dean were really sport and all that sort of thing. The thing is, they're going to make, apparently, lots of lovely money. And take off those skates, Richard, because it looks quite silly with the dress. You can't be Torville. Well, you think you're going to be Dean? Oh, well, it's up to you, but I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't suit you at all. You never had to stand up this way. I mean, I've got nothing against them, but apparently they're going to pack up now, and now they've got their gold medals and so on, they're going to go pro. It's something about her face, though, isn't it? You know, she's got a cake shop face, hasn't she? You know, like Tracy. It was somebody, it sounds around me, somebody said, Tracy ought to be in a cake shop. And I thought that was... And I thought, why shouldn't she be in a cake shop and be a singer? And why shouldn't Torville be in a cake shop and skate about? I'd like to see... It'd be a nice thought to feel that I could go into my local cake shop, you know, and you sort of go through the door in a couple of weeks' time and it's all died out. Door opens and something
Mr.
like...
Walters, yeah.
Exactly, and you sort of, hello, Torville. Oh, Mr. Walters, I'll bet. You'll use your £5 slab of Battenberg, so I've not forgotten you. Yeah, I saw you on television, of course. Did you? Did you really? Because, you know, people seem to think they keep coming into the shop for an autograph, and it's really embarrassing, because you know how much work there is when you've been away. You know, just catching up, you know what it's like, because, I mean, I've been trying to get the cherry back on the almond surprise, but still it's nice to get a steady wage again, because between you and me, Mr. W, it was all very well travelling around the world, lying on the ice face down at the end of that Bolero thing while he spun me round, but my assets were frozen. And, what have I said? What do you think of me? I've got all pink. Oh, don't make me laugh. I mean, you make me lose my cherry. Chance would be a fine thing, Torville. Oh, Mr. Walters, so you are. Well, in the meantime, of course, I mean, to get back to reality, that's just my fantasy, of course, but someone wrote it, a girl, I assume it's a girl. Yes, this girl, Vicky, I suppose, Vicky Tro. True, I think it's probably Tro. She's not a very good writer, whatever else she is, but she found in the local paper a poem dedicated to Torville and Dean. She said, obviously, as I'm a bit interested, I might be keen on this, so this is a sort of farewell thing. So we say a fond farewell to Torville and Dean, the world's amateur skaters, ice dance king and queen. From Great Britain and from Nottingham, their hometown, to Sarajevo and Ottawa, gold has been the crown, with music from Barnum and the Bolero too. Memories linger amidst the shades of blue. Then it gets right down to the end. So in their farewell competition, a beautiful but sad rendition, Two Lovers on Ice was their final scene. Two names inseparable. Torville and Dean. I don't think we need to say any more, do you? No. Right, turn the page. What else? I mean, art. I've been really into the art world because I'd missed out on art for a week or two, and I'd get invited to galleries and little openings, you know, dry white wine and a biscuit and you have a quick look, you know. And so I've dived right down several things. One of them was at the Cadogan Gallery, which is in Pont Street, just off Sloane Street in London. Scottish laddie has an exhibition there, a chap called Alan Dick. I looked at it as the stuff they sent round, and in it says a quote from Alan saying, a painting, I won't do it, a Scottish voice, I won't bother. Well, I will, wait. A painting, hoots, he says, is making physical the quality of light. You know, you think, says Alan, whatever it is, I don't know, you know. But of course, when you get in there, I mean, it's all pop stars. I mean, nothing wrong with that, Alan. But I was a bit suspicious of those sort of exhibitions, because you know what it's like, people paint Elton. You know, and then they paint Rod Stewart. They hope somebody's going to dive in from Elton. What? £2,000, thanks very much. Whee! You know, it's a good way of selling things. Because you know what egos are like in the record business, and they love. But Alan said, no, I put this to him. He was there having a glass of dry white wine himself. He said, no, look at the stuff. He said, because a lot of the painters are people like, more our end of the market, you know, like sort of ex-Mal Deutschland and the Cocteau Twins, people he painted a couple of years ago. And he said this wasn't fashionable then, things he'd just heard on you know, Peel or on Kid or U-Plane or whatever. You know, and it wasn't exactly, you know, Boy George sort of thing. But I suppose... He said, really, you know, he could have done like apples and pears if he wanted to, but, you know, that's what interested him. He was interested in the rock pop business, so he does photographs first and then sort of blows them up. They, say this, Alan, but I mean, they're not 100%. I mean,
They don't look right, do they? They don't.
Oh,
look
you've been?
I have, and they don't look like the people.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, I'm
That's a
talking
major problem.
Normally, I'm talking to kids, you know, painting. What is that? You know, Susie, who is that?
He's away on holiday.
Yeah, I
Get away
know.
with
You
that.
won't get it in Iceland. He's got his shortwave thing. He'll be out on the fields.
Yeah, but you're right. The technique's there, but somehow the pictures don't ring true.
Well, but Susie one was good, where Susie turned round, looked the other way. But the one that threw it a bit for me, it'd be interesting for listeners to go and have a look if you're passing that way, of course, but for me was Peel. I'll go in, there's a painting of Peel. Now, when you've stared, it's like painting my apple. You know, when I've stared into that chubby little face since the 1960s, you know, it's an object I know pretty damn well. You know, and I just thought he hadn't got the eyes right there. But, on the other hand, some of them, there's this one, I mean, they do look like photographs, some of them, and obviously he's got quite a technique there, so, well, we'll see. Wednesday I went to a new gallery that's opened, a strange-shaped gallery. A lot of places are opening now, warehouses and things. This is down Bethnal Green. The way it's called, the showroom, but it's a sort of slice of cheese-shaped gallery. Do you know what I mean? Pointed like a piece of slice of cake, which means that the artist who exhibits right down here, they've got a very small picture, because you're almost like squeezed down there and look at them. But what they've got at the moment is David Gregory and Rita Harris. Rita Harris's work I looked at and I thought, well, I couldn't really judge that in isolation. I talked to the woman there, you know, and she explained, I've done this and I've done that. And paintings that looked at on their own, you wouldn't be able to quite get a grasp of what she was on about. You know, it's ideas and sort of rather mystical ideas and images that she'd picked up travelling around and sketches and so on. But you needed to see a wall of the stuff to get some grasp. With David Gregory, what he's got in there is a sort of theme of, you might say, light reflected on water, a sort of very bright, you know, great ripples and things and little bits of boaty shapes and all that sort of thing. But you can read them as abstract if you want to. You can say, yeah, but once you've seen one, it's not that you've seen them all, but you've seen the style that's going to be echoed around his work. But it's an interesting contrast. But the biggest names I went to, I just popped in yesterday, was to see Gilbert and George, who, up to you, I mean, there's not been a non-arty man, you might think sounds like a balancing act. So, you know, well, yeah, it is, it's a bit strange. But they're at the Doffey Gallery, that's D'-Offey, just off Bond Street there. And they're very legendary painters. They're very well known internationally because they were, not so much painters as really early performance giants. They did for a long time. They said, what we are, we're living sculptures. And they used to appear in galleries painted like gold or something like that, with their necks sticking out of their suits and so on. And they would mime to underneath the arches, you know, at certain times on the hour kind of thing, you know. Interesting pair. They took the attitude of sort of, you know, our life is our art sort of thing, and they're rather mysterious. Great big huge panels they've got there that look like stained glass or something like that, usually of Gilbert and George and boys. I mean, there's no way out of that from round where they live in the East End. Usually labelled something as if they are like big stained glass windows, you know, from a church or something, like good, belief, work, dead. These are very strange things, but very big striking images, there's no question as that, because they're a funny pair. They've been living together for well, years and years at this little place in the East End, a tidy little place, like behind lace curtains, you know, mysterious, like just two Victorian old maids or something, you know, and they'd rather occasionally, but not too often, they'll invite somebody in for tea, that kind of thing, but it is tea. You can tell they don't want to get too involved in things. They're a bit strange, rather disturbing. But, you know, they react to their sort of East End surroundings and so on, and they do rather seem... What's put some aspects of the art world off is that they appear to be rather fascinated with those, what you might call East End skinhead, you know, National Front fodder, as you might say, those rather bully boys of the East End, as featured in their work quite a lot, you know, and sort of Union Jack images and so on. And the left, particularly, has been a bit edgy about them, although they are, as I say, internationally known and this sort of thing. But people tend to take a stance one way or the other for them. I would suggest, certainly, if you're interested in the art world, you should definitely go and see it. But when you get into the gallery, it's rather as if you'd just stumbled into a sort of temple consecrated to a rather disturbing religion. You think, hello, these great big faces looking down here, very weird images and so on. But there's been an odd sideline to this business, because Valdimar who used to pop up onto the Walters Weekly, he's a critic from The Guardian, and they had him in for tea, like at the gallery's insistence, at Doffey Gallery's insistence. And then he wrote a piece, which was a bit whacked at their lifestyle. Whack, because he sees himself... Valdimar's a bit like a Julie Burchill figure, you know, he's a critic, but whack, you know, he will take a stance on something, you see. And this led to a rather nasty letter about him from a lot of people in the art world appearing in The Guardian, and then a letter defending him and so on. And then this vast letter from the actual man Doffey, who runs the gallery himself, huge letter, which says how distressed Gilbert and George were by this criticism, and they'd have liked us to get an apology, and how furious they were and so on. But then it says, this is the crucial bit, Mr. Janacek has chosen not to fulfil the role of professional art critic. We shall in future cease to advise him of events at our gallery. Should he attempt to visit our exhibitions, he will be asked to leave. Now, that was in Saturday's Guardian. So this is going to be a bit awkward. He can't go to the exhibitions anymore. And if he turns up, out you go, down the stairs. The art world's a lot more exciting than you think. But I think we ought to get... Because, I mean, Doffey's practically got a point. They don't like to get the nasty criticism. Sure, perhaps Gilbert and George don't, I'm sure. But I think we've got to have a bit of a free comment, haven't we? You know, I mean, here at Radio 1, of course we can afford to relax. What am I saying? I mean, you know what I mean? No, you can't stop a bit of free speech here and there. I think we should get together in the art world, any young artists who are listening, a sort of Friends of Janacek organisation, and we could get a coach load of people, and we'd have to leave him in the coach because they'll throw him out. And we'll park round the corner in Hanover Square, and then in fancy dress so they don't know who we are, we'll have to sneak into the gallery and look at the work and go out and tell him. Well, it is so... There's going to be... Doffey is going to be in there looking around the corner. Who's that? Is that Janacek coming to have a look at our paintings? Instead of that, of course, oh, no, another pirate. You know, it's like a fancy dress. I'll be walking out. Robin Hood made man. That's very strange. Oh, no, not another Arab. You know, somebody with one of those rings, deck tennis rings and a tea towel. People, hey, what's coming up the stairs? It's a pillar box. You know, anything could happen. I will report on future developments. Speaking of dressing up, again, usually I ring this bell, you wonder why I'm doing that. I usually ring the bell to say, new topic, because it's been similar topics, you know. Speaking of dressing up, here's the clue. Richard Skinner, come on down.
The Price is Right.
Right.
Yes.
Now, have you seen it in the States?
I've seen it there. I haven't seen our version of it.
Well, you know what it's like in the States, because people have seen it here.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Well, dressing up. Here, at least, they look as normal as the average studio audience at Central Television is likely to look. But on the other hand, in America, as you've seen it, I mean, what are the audience like?
They run down there all dressed up to the nines, and there's a fabulous clip from one where a girl comes running down in her best clothes, and they all fall off her on the way down.
I've seen that one.
It's worth seeing.
But when I saw it in the States, it's on it all day, every day, and there's always a channel with The Price is Right, and they make more of it, and don't they have a separate man, like the man who says, here's Johnny. On Johnny Carson, they have a man, and they'll name, Mrs. Guggenheimer of so-and-so Pennsylvania State, Wahoo Falls or something, and the guy goes, Mrs. Guggenheimer, come on down.
And they go mad.
Oh, mad. They jump up and down. Why I'm not reviewing Tarzan this week, because it's just like that, isn't it? And they're jumping up and down, and they're dressed as Mickey Mouse and carrots and all sorts of things to try and catch their attention. You know, ours looks a bit conservative, but frankly, it is the lowest form of television, isn't it? You know what I mean? I'd like to get the job of presenting it, sure, and make a fortune, but it is just a show based on greed and avarice, isn't it? You know, I mean, really, the US one's more over the top, you know, and they do all that dressing up, but it's just trying to have a go at the trough. Let me in. Oh. And you think, the worst aspects of the human condition. I saw it again on Saturday. I can't believe our audiences haven't been coached. Can you? Have you seen?
I haven't seen our version.
Sorry,
so
if you see it over here, they start that jumping up and down when their name's called, and you think, that's not normal. Instead of saying, Mr. Battersby of Walsall. Oh, wish me luck, darling. Excuse me. Down I go. They go, again, as they're starting to do that, and you think, you've seen that, you know what to do, mate. I'm not saying they're actors, but, you know, they've been G'd up a little bit. I thought it... pretty horrible, because then the prizes to me are horrible. You know, they look round the back and here's the prize, and they say, you've got to guess the price of this matching set. And the audience go, woo! Of polystyrene all-electric coffee percolator holders. Woo! Sort of thing you wouldn't want at home. In British racing green. Woo! They all go, with Scandinavian simulated crystal accessories. Woo! And Sonia, if you just demonstrate, they're reversible. And there's sort of things you think, I don't even know what it is. Never mind having it in my flipping house. Now, horrible, you may say, but somebody might be listening from Central Television and say, oh, just jealousy. BBC bloke, casting aspersions, looking down your noses. Yes, I can see that, but on the Sunday, while I was at home over the weekend, I also tuned into the Antique Roadshow. Now, that's more BBC respectable.
Right, yes.
Paul in Dorset. Same thing, isn't it? I mean, let's face it. You know, they'll bring it over to the expert, and the expert will say, well, Mrs. Battersby, I know what this is. It's a matching set of polyethylene all-electric coffee percolator holders. Georgian, I think, and she's going, yes. But you know she's thinking, come on, how much is it? Come on, give me the big one I want. The old Missoula. Is it what I want? And he'll say, yeah, it's as you can see, it's in British racing green with the craftsman's name. Here, just here. Did you see that at the bottom? Yes, that's interesting. How much? Come on. Where are the old spondulics? You know, give me the money. And then these guys, yeah. And, of course, if you turn it this way, the simulated crystal accessories, it's very beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. Who cares about beautiful? Give me the money. And as you can see, it's reversible. Yes. How much did you think? And then she says, well, I don't have any idea, but I had hope for a few thousand so I can see my daughter in Australia and really have a good time and go to discos. Well, I can tell you, Mrs. Battersby, it's worth approximately 30 bob. Same sort of thing, you see. Let's finish on not a music record, but a record. When I was watching The Price is Right, I remembered, because obviously this particular record is based on the American version, and it's the old National Lampoon team who made a comedy record there, 1973, when Price is Right it's been running for years. This is called, it's that, again, greed, me, let me get something for free. And this is a really bizarre version called Catch It and You Keep It. It's fairly self-explanatory.
It's time once again to play Catch It and You Keep It. And here's your host, Bob Benson.
Hi, folks. For you newcomers to Catch It and You Keep It, here's how we play the game. I'm now standing on a balcony on the 10th floor of the CBS studios. The contestants are gathered below me in the parking lot. My assistants and I will throw prizes down to the crowd, and if they catch them, they keep them. That's all there is to it. Now, let's turn on the PA system and start the fun. Can you hear me, folks? Who do we have first, Phil?
Well, Bob, our first contestant is a consulting engineer who used to play center field for his high school baseball team. Meet Mr. Ronald Hodgson of Canoga Park, California.
Well, welcome aboard, Ron, and tell me, how were you out there in center field, Ron? Did you drop many?
Oh, I've booted a few.
Well, let's hope you're in top form today, Ron, because I'm holding a 21-jewel Benrus wristwatch. How'd you like to give it a try?
You bet.
Then get ready, because here it comes! And he caught it! Take a look inside the box, Ron.
There's a watch. And money.
Yes, it's a surprise bonus of 2 crisp $100 bills. Now, Ron, I'm holding a lovely piece of American Tourister luggage. Would you like to try for it?
Well, I don't know.
I'm going to open this suitcase, Ron, and place inside it a $500 Spiegel catalog gift certificate. Now, how do you feel?
Can I ask my wife?
Go for it, Ron. Go for it.
Well, okay. She's the boss.
It's a bit on the bulky side, so you'll have to be pretty agile.
I'll give it a try.
Ron had better be agile indeed, because what he doesn't know is that in addition to the $500 Spiegel catalog gift certificate, the suitcase also contains not 1, not 2, but 3 solid gold bars weighing 85 pounds each. And after a 100-foot fall, this baby's going to carry quite a load.
Get ready, Ronald Hodgson of Canoga Park, California, because here it comes! I guess Ron booted another one, and I'm afraid his brand new watch got spoiled in the bargain. There goes the fanfare that announces our mystery package. Remember, this package could contain anything from feathers to lead balloons. So, while the contestants get ready, Phil will let the home audience in on the secret.
Today's mystery package contains a dream house. That's right, a prefabricated golden medallion home for the ultimate in total electric living, complete with wall-to-wall carpeting and a real brick fireplace. Altogether, it weighs over 46 tons.
Are you ready? Then here it comes. That about wraps up today's show. But nobody goes away a loser because every contestant gets a Parker Brothers Catch It and You Keep It game to play and enjoy in your own home. See you tomorrow.
Catch it and you keep it. I say one thing, thank goodness radio will never be like that here, I tell you.
Hello, Annie Nightingale.